is Damali Nabosahirwa. We are at Uganet here in Tinda, and we are going to have, it should be the second show. The last one was held by our friends Supercharger, Moses Supercharger, and Joanita Kawalya, our favorite, one of our favorite and legendary artists. And now we are here, we are back here to have yet another show. Thanks a lot for joining us. And the topic of discussion today is we'll be looking at the impact of gender-based violence on women and girls in the context of COVID-19. If you've been around, you know that last year, especially immediately after the lockdown, even during the lockdown, the news headlines were, most of the headlines we were seeing every day, at least every newspaper had a headline on how many girls have been raped, how many girls have fallen pregnant during the lockdown, how many girls may never get a chance to go back to school because of defilement. There were very many rape cases. Also here at Uganet, during the lockdown, we managed to come up with a call center. And through that call center, we were overwhelmed with a number of women calling in, asking for help because they were being beaten and battered by their partners. In fact, we were also, during that time, we were forced to open a shelter, a quick rescue home where we could keep these women safe during that time. So that is why we have come up with this topic and this particular show. And the show is coming to you in conjunction with TASO Uganda, with the UN Women, TASO Uganda and the Global Fund with the UN Women, and the CSO HIV Law Coalition. Thank you so much once again for joining us, and I will start on my right. I think you will go right ahead with introducing yourself.
Edwin Katamba, commonly known as MC Katz, King of the Mic. Glad to be here.
You're welcome, MC Katz. So am I okay to call you Katz every once in a while?
Yeah, it's okay.
Perfect. Next.
My name is Joanita Kawalya Muganga, the legendary musician, female musician in this country, a teacher, a mother, and an activist on issues of girls and women.
Yes, you've been very vocal over the years. And even HIV and AIDS. You really advocate for people who are living with HIV and
very
AIDS.
much so.
And well done.
Thank you.
Yes, Katz, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joanita, for coming. Then on my left,
Caroline Mirambe, Mami E, Caroline Marcah for now.
The names are too many.
There are too many. Gonna to Gamaleyo. Caroline Marcah, Mami E, Queen of the Mic, Luimba, Bogedde TV, and of course all the other places you can get to see me from.
Okay, let's speak to the gentleman on my left.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm Moses Supercharger, a senior radio DJ. I'm currently the team leader and executive director of the Joint Adherent Brothers and Sisters Against AIDS. Positive liver for 30 years. And I promote issues to do with quality access to HIV services and adherence. Sure.
You guys are looking great.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming. When I look at Supercharger and it's like I've lived with HIV for 30 years. But you know, the person is going to die tomorrow, and you really can't. There's a lot of ignorance around these issues. Yes, but thank you so much for standing for who you are, for what you are, and also for advocating for people who are living like us. So we're going to have this discussion. It will be free. Feel free to pour out your heart, to tell people what you feel, to tell people what you know, so that someone out there is encouraged, someone out there knows that they are not alone and there is hope. Yeah? So Supercharger, quickly, maybe in like a minute or less, could you tell us how this COVID-19 affected people who are living with HIV?
Yeah, COVID affected us so much because remember we are supposed to take our medications every day. And you're supposed to pick the medication from your clinic, which in most cases is like 45 miles away from your stay. So many folks couldn't access their medications. And the minute you don't access your medication, you skip. And when you skip, you're likely to develop a health problem called HDR, which is HIV drug resistance. So many of our folks missed medications because of the lockdown. They could not move to pick their medication, which is very dangerous. And we are yet to see the impact because resistance does not come within a week. Yeah, it takes some time. So that's also a challenge. We need someone to do a calculation to calculate the impact.
To make a proper survey.
Yeah, survey to see if the people are affected so that we can act as quickly as possible. But many folks could not pick the medication. There were cries. People were calling us. And now we're helpless. You cannot help them. So, and we didn't prepare them quickly because the thing was just abrupt. So that briefly, that was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Of course, Uganda.
But of course, we also want to thank those advocates who took the initiative.
Swung into action.
To help. Because some people individually try to help people access medication. And actually, I also want to thank the Ministry of Health. After realizing the problem, they said, okay, now it's low. If supercharger have been picking medication from Kajansi, and you are living in Kisasi, and yet there is a dwaliro in Kisasi Church of Uganda, nga sijo badde ofunira wegendayo bugenzira card bwe bali kumma tukubire tubakimeko. So Ministry of Health bwe yayise eyo system, it eased because some people were taking medication from Tasso and they are living in Kajansi. And on their way, they are passing through Maldime and
Others
JCRS.
of country.
Others of country. Yeah.
Imagine someone lives in Bara, or the lockdown found them in a very crazy place, and then they can't come. Yes, but also you know that Uganet, we employed a bodas.
Yeah.
2 boda riders who would ride to people's homes, pick their prescriptions, go pick the drug, and then take it back.
Take to the clients.
Yeah, we did that.
That's
we did
cool.
that, and
Thank you.
yeah, so well done, super. And then MC Kat, how has this thing affected musicians? Has it affected them in any way? Artists? quickly.
At this point, we would say it has affected them like tremendously, because this is a point where they're not working. They have families, they have rent, they have to keep up appearance, and they're not earning anything. So it's now, we don't know even how they're surviving.
We don't know how the future. Okay. And then Joanita,
yes,
would you tell us how the economy changed? Could you?
The economy really changed. Why? You remember this thing happened abruptly, and when I talk of maybe women, because there are very people I could talk about, abachala baterese obusente bwabwe ebintu byajja bya wiiki 2 oluvannyuma lwa wiiki 2 nti mwezi okuddako nti mwezi sente zonna ne tuzire ne ziggwamu awaka kati okuba akafaananyi omukyala baterese esente y'ekikazi nomala ogitegeka benit after just a time nti ziweddewo kakati n'omwami takola kakati mwenna muli waka bokera kuma kyalo gamba ntete za sukali nti sirina olaba lwaki lutalo olaba lutalo mpimba sokuda mukungamba ko kigambo kyonna kakati onsabamere nakozewa olaba nti atejjukira nti economy ebeera ku bintu kyenkana 2 abantu nga tufulumya oba production ne sente kakati byombi tebiriwo tosobola
consumption and production
kakati tolina byosobola kukolerawo awo kakati yacyankana teyakyuka twabeera mu buzibu paka leero kubanga bw'olaba bw'otunulawo tinogamba nti banka zaaliyambye mu kiseera ekyo nga ssente zonna yenkitunzaani nga byonna akaseera kazibu paka olwaleero tebinaba
nakukyukakafuluma mu lockdown eyokubiri ate tuwulira waliwo ne third wave so we don't know
buzibu kyeyongera bweyongezi kubanga jjukira nti bwe wabeera nga oli mukozi oyagala kwewola ssente mu banka ssente banka kwekuwolera amagoba gasigala gegamu kitegeeza tewaliwo nkyukakyuka awaka omwami tannaddayo kukola omwami yayinza okuba abadde musomesa omukyala naawe obadde n'akaduuka ako byonna tebikola kakati ekikwatagala n'ebyenfuna byo ate bibi nnyo tebikyuse nako kiseera kizibu nnyo ate ne gavumenti tenateekawo teeka lituyamba nti bannange bwogenda ne weewola percentage yali badde nenekkeko abamaduuka mukole mutya singa olaba ekiriwo kati ndaba kizibu na nnyo okusinga ekyali kibaddewo tetunakyukako tuli bubi tuli bubi
The
ekigambo
entire world
ky'ebyenfuna.
is in a crisis. Thank you very much, Joanita.
Thank you so much.
Carol, you're the one who has
dear.
not told us how young girls, especially people of
Yeah.
your age,
Mm.
people who knew how to navigate their life, maybe you knew how to handle with education, with your friends, now
Yeah,
you're
sure.
locked up at home with your parents. That has probably never happened in a very long time. How are you affected?
You know, we have different categories of, when you talk about young girls in my budget, in my bracket rather, we have different categories. We have the girls who actually have a source of income. My father is going to send me some tuition. My mother has a kaduka. She has a boyfriend who also gives her sometime. So there is that kind of girl. Then we also have the kind of girl, Yenga Jam Chibugakwe, she has a job, she's working at a bar as a waitress and all that, and that is her source of income. Yeah. And then you also have the third girl, she doesn't even have a job. She's depending on these other two categories of girls who are her friends. Today I'll sleep at so and so's, tomorrow now I have got some money from this and this, let me get this car house. If the landlord if the landlord chases me, I'm sure I can go back to this friend of mine at a hostel and sleep there. So you're looking at three categories of girls who are right now all not working. You would say the first category would have maybe somewhere at Tata Mama, but now even Tata Mama don't have a source of income at this time. Their offices are locked. You're looking at that girl, and she is being also tempted. All the girls in this bracket are highly tempted, and this is something that is being overlooked. Yeah, they're highly tempted to do the wrong things. That's why we are seeing a lot of nude pictures coming out of women or girls that people actually thought, you get what I'm saying? Because they have a pressure, they have to keep up appearances to their friends, to their
to survive.
groups. And then to Inaneba Nonga, for her, she just has to survive. There is no way she's going back to the village. There is no one she's going to turn to. So this is where we're seeing all the pregnancies. And something else people are underlooking. You know, these days, the kind of girls that I know are in my age bracket. Right now, these girls fear pregnancy even more than they fear AIDS.
That is true.
Because they know, if I get pregnant, what if I am trying to abort and I
How will
die?
I handle another
get what
human
I'm saying?
being?
Yes.
I'm a
So
child
that is
myself.
what-
How will I handle another child?
That is the pressure
And,
they're fitting into right now. So it's really horrible. Even those, we have a few girls that had settled in with their partners. Now this partner is treating her like rubbish because he knows transport. You get, we had those jokes where people were saying when the lockdown started, how are you going to be in that man's house for this long? He had budgeted you'll be there for a week. So we are also facing all these kinds of things, and girls are inside there keeping quiet because who are they going to run to?
So these are the challenges that, I mean, from all your submissions, we can clearly tell that everybody was affected. Young, old, Muslim, Christian, it did not segregate. So, and that is what brings us together to look at this COVID-19, especially for women and girls, as we will eventually discover when we finally look into our topic. And maybe also to say that so many people, especially this second lockdown, the second wave, so many people have lost their lives. We have lost very many people. I lost my mother.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yes, the hardest time of my life ever. So we have so many people, and I think it is only right that maybe we observe a little moment of silence for all of you who lost your people. And may their soul rest in eternal peace. So while everyone was affected by this COVID-19, it is, we have discovered with the statistics that are now coming out through different medias, through headlines of different dailies, through the Uganda police report of crime, the Uganda annual crime report of the police of 2020, through several outlets, we have discovered that women and girls were affected in ways that were quite overwhelming. That is why we were drawn to the attention of this topic. And in fact, our ED here likes to say that this outbreak was a crisis for women and girls. That is what she likes to call it. But this crisis was particularly, this
Women
outbreak
and
was
girls.
particularly a crisis for women and girls, as we will discover later. In fact, at this juncture, I request every one of you to pick your placards, and you're going to read for us what is written on it. These are basically highlights of the issues that were raised mostly in the media, bringing to the attention of this world what was happening to women and girls during the lockdown. Should we start with you, Katz?
Yeah, over 17,664 cases of domestic violence were reported to police in 2020.
Yes, and that came through the annual Uganda Police Force report, crime report for 2020. That information came through there. Maybe we move to Caroline, or rather to Joanita. We'll come back to you.
Okay, mine states that 10 districts show